Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shabbat Shalom, good Shabbos. Please join us. We're going to begin on page 24. Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon, Shalom, Shalom. Mi Melech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Shalom, Shalom. Bochem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Shalom, Shalom. Mi Melech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Join me, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Shalom, Shalom. Peace be upon you, angels divine. Shabbat Shalom, u'mivarach. Barachuni l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Shalom, Shalom. Mi Melech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Shalom, Shalom. Seitchem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Shalom, Shalom. Mi Melech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Shalom, Shalom. Kadosh Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Shalom, Shalom. Shalom, 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 Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Oh, I was getting a little bit of extra sound out of here. Is everybody hearing me okay? How about those of you online? Awesome. Okay, I'll get close to it. My roadie, Cantacebo's got me covered. It's such a pleasure to celebrate Shabbat with you. This week deserves a restful conclusion. It deserves an opportunity for us to pause and reflect, to discover what meaning there is in this day ahead. You know how when you leave Yom Kippur and you say to one of your clergy, are you very excited that the High Holy Days are done? On Yom Kippur you say this to them, and they look at you like, your holidays are done, my holidays are continuing. Well, Simchat Torah marks the real conclusion, and now that we've celebrated and rejoiced with Torah and carried forward our heritage, we are very proud to be standing at the edge of Shabbat, a time to discover, a time to rest, and to observe, and to share it with you is such a blessing. My name, if those of you who don't know me, is Rob Nosenchuk. I'm so delighted to lead worship tonight with Cantor Kathy Sebo, Rabbi Eli Melbaum. We're so pleased to have you here. And we invite you to turn now to page number 3 in your prayer book. I'm going to call now on next Saturday's bar mitzvah boy, whose name is Alex Miller, to, if you wouldn't mind, carry your parents up with you to help light the candles.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us.
As their brightest reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who have kindled light.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kirshanu b'mitzvotav, b'tzivanu lehad likner shel Shabbat.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the lights of Shabbat.
Amen.
Well done, sir.
Shabbat shalom. Thank you.
We continue now on page number 8. I begin with a prayer of gratitude for all that's holy in our lives. God needs no words, not English or Hebrew, no semantics, not even services. I need them. Through prayer, I can sense my inner strength, my inner purpose, my inner joy, my capacity to love. Together, as I reach upward in prayer, I sense these qualities in my Creator. To love God is to love each other, to work to make our lives better. To love God is to love the world God created, and to work to perfect it. To love God is to love dreams of peace and joy that illumine all of us and bring that vision to life. Page number 20, we continue with Lecha Dodi, a beautiful song rejoicing in the Sabbath coming towards us. And at the concluding verse, we'll invite you to rise and turn toward the entrance, even though Sabbath Bride probably has a lot of different ways they could make their way in here, but we just turn to that entrance as a signal that she's welcome to arrive here and bring the beauty of Shabbat together. Page 20.
Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad Yishmi'anu el hamiyuchad Adonai echad u'shmo echad L'shenu tiferet v'li'tchilah לקראת שבת, לכו ונלכה, כי מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם ניסוחה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. יאי לי לי, יאללה לה 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 לך דודי, יאללה לה 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 לקראת כלה, יאללה לה 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 פני שבת, פני שבת נקרא, בלי יאללה לה 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 לך דודי, יאללה לה 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 לקראת כלה, יאללה לה 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 פני שבת, פני שבת נקרא. בואי ושלום, עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצור חולה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה, יאי לי לי, יאללה לה 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 לך דודי, לקראת כלה, יאללה לה 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 פני שבת, פני שבת נקרא בלה.
If you are able, we invite you to remain standing for our call to worship, Baruch Hu, on page 28. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Aved, Le'olam Aved. Yalalai, lalalai, Bottom of page 31. This is an hour of change. Within it, we stand uncertain on a border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it, we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai HaMa'ariv Aravim, page 34, Shema Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Leolam Abad.
You may be seated. We continue on page 36.
ואהבת את
אדוני אלוהיך
בכל לבביך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם בלבניך ודיברתם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, ושרתם מאוד על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתיכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
And the crowd goes wild. At the bottom of page 39, we read responsively, in a world torn by violence and pain, a world that is far from wholeness or peace, give us courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. Together, the high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice. From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way. Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame. Though our failings are many and our faults great, it has been our glory to bear witness to God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea, singing Micha Mocha, page 40.
Adonai imloch leolam vaed. Adonai imloch leolam vaed. Micha mocha vaylim Adonai.
As we turn to the bottom of page 44, we're about to sing a prayer of rejoicing for the Shabbat, Yismechu. This reminds me of a teaching of a great rabbi about the power of holiness in each day. This rabbi said that each day we have a choice. One second, what was the line here? One second. It says, yesterday is dead, tomorrow has not yet arrived. I have just one day, this day. I'm going to be happy in it. It's an awesome idea. The rabbi's name is Groucho Marx. Well, he wasn't really a rabbi, but he could entertain a crowd. but he was about the light in the day, about not taking ourselves so seriously. The world it needs our serious attention, absolutely. But ourselves, we need to find things that bring us light, that bring us hope, and that restore and invest in that light and hope and laughter. I hope that this Shabbat will include some big belly laughs for us all. Yismechu, I imagine, as a way of giggling our way into Shabbat. So let's sing, and hopefully I haven't chosen to give that introduction to like a mournful melody. No, good, awesome. That happened to me once before. Cantor Lappin said, "Oh, Rabbi, sorry."
No, we're gonna get happy.
Okay.
I'm very happy. ישמחו במלאכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. ישמחו במלאכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. מקדשי שביעי שבת, כולם ישמחו ויתענגו מטובך השבת. ישמחו במלאכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. ישמחו במלאכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. זכר זכר למעשה בראשית שבת. זכר זכר למעשה בראשית שבת. ישמחו ישמחו במלאכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת.
We rise for our tefillah, which begins on page 46 with the words Adonai Sefatai Tiftach, God, open up our lips for the purpose of praise.
אדוני שפתי תפתח ופי יגיד תפילתך. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Hayon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot Ve'imahot, ומביא גאולה לבני בניכם, למען שמו באחווה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחייך כל אתה, רב להושיע. משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישוע, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיה הכל.
You may be seated.
We'll pray together at the top of page 55.
May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. The top of 56.
Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu, v'amecha Yisrael, u'tefilatam be'ahava titkaber, u'tihi liratzon, tamid avodat
On page 61 at the bottom. Don't stop after beating the swords into plowshares. Don't stop. Go on beating and make musical instruments out of them. Whoever wants to make war again will have to turn them into plowshares first. Shalom Rav, page 60.
Shalom Rav HaYisrael, tasim le'olam. Shalom Rav HaYisrael, tasim le'olam. Ki ata hu melech Adon, lechol hashalom, v'tov beinecha, levarech et amcha Yisrael, b'chol עת ובכל שעה, בשלומך. Baruch atah Adonai, baruch et amo Yisrael, b'shalom.
We take a few moments now for quiet reflection, private prayer.
יהיו לרצון אמרי פי, יהיו לרצון אמרי פי, בגיון ליבי לפניך, אדוני צורי וגואלי. God, my rock and my redeemer. Ose shalom bimromav, uya'aseh shalom aleinu, b'yakol Yisrael, b'himeru,
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. The holidays were late this year, which means it's the end of October, and we have only just finished our Tishrei cycle of the High Holy Days, with delight, I should add. We've welcomed a new year, we've atoned, we've shaken the lulav and relaxed in the sukkah, and we've danced with the Torah, and now, both finally and initially, we start this week back at the very beginning. Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz, as God was beginning to create the heavens and the earth. From the very outset of our Torah, we have evidence of two interwoven traditions with two creation narratives that rely on each other but don't exactly align. In our first creation story, God speaks existence into being, organizing chaos into ordered categories: light and darkness, day and night, sun, earth, moon, and stars, plants and creatures of all kinds, and finally, humanity. In Genesis chapter 1, paradoxically, we read, "And God said, 'Let us make man in our image, after our likeness. They shall rule the fish of the sea, the birds of the sky, the cattle, the whole earth, and all the creeping things that creep on the earth.' And God created man in God's image. In the image of God, God created him. Male and female, God created them. God blessed them, and God said to them, 'Be fertile and increase, fill the earth and master it, and rule the fish of the sea, the birds of the sky, and all the living things that creep on the earth.' God saw all that God had made and found it very good, and there was evening and there was morning, a sixth day." In this version of the story, we meet Adam, the earthling made from Adamah. This being seems to be all-inclusive, male and female, a complete but single entity. But just a couple of verses later in chapter 2, we read, "God formed man from the dust of the earth. God blew into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living being. God planted a garden in Eden in the east and placed there the man whom God had formed. God said, 'It is not good for man to be alone. I will make a fitting helper for him.' And the man gave names to all the cattle and to the birds of the sky and to all the wild beasts, but for Adam, no fitting helper was found. So God cast a deep sleep upon the man, and while he slept, God took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh at that spot. And God fashioned the rib God had taken from the man into woman, and God brought her to the man. Then the man said, 'This one at last is bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. This one shall be called woman, for from man she was taken.'" I love when things in Torah don't line up exactly because they're an opening into midrash, or storytelling commentary, that aims to fill in the gaps of our sacred texts. So here our question is, what happened to that first equal woman of Genesis 1? Where is she when Eve comes along in Genesis 2? Enter Lilith, one of my favorite characters in all of Judaism. She's a demon, a female force. She's terrifying and she's powerful. And today I will convince you why she's awesome. The holidays started late this year, which means that on my way to Yom Kippur services, I drove by many homes decorated for Halloween. And while this is not a Devar Torah about Halloween, I thought it might be interesting to explore a little seasonally appropriate demonology together tonight. Lilith has captured my fascination since I first learned about her. I was raised with the idea that we don't have angels or demons in Judaism, but what I've come to find out is that we don't have the angels and demons portrayed in Renaissance art, but we have many angels and quite a few demons as well, and among them, Lilith is my favorite. My colleague, Rabbi Elise Goldstein, helps here by introducing us to some of the origins of Lilith, who she calls the cleverest attempt at answering the question of where the original female being goes when Eve is created in Genesis chapter 2. Rabbi Goldstein writes, "Inventing her from the Hebrew word for light, for night, Lila, the rabbis wrote about Lilith as the original female creation. The rabbis already knew the word Lilith from the one place it appears in the Hebrew Bible, Isaiah chapter 34, verse 14, where Lilith is at rest with the hyenas in the wilderness. Perhaps they also knew her as an earlier mythical prototype, the she-devil, a demon who destroys children. They picture her as utterly fearsome and yet utterly alone. Lilith does not appear in the Torah portion we read the Shabbat, but her presence, her existence, can be read into her very absence. According to the rabbinic tradition, Lilith is the female side of the dual-gendered entity created in the first creation story. But because she is made of the same stuff and made at the same time as Adam, she demands equality. Adam rejects her grabbed equality and begs God to send him a newer, better wife, and so Lilith is banished from the garden. Let's go back to Rabbi Goldstein. Following her reading of the second version of our creation story, we learn, with Lilith gone, God realizes it is not good for this being to be alone, and God creates a new being, this time not from the same substance as Adam, but from Adam himself. When she is brought to him for inspection, no wonder the being exclaims, "This time," as opposed to the first time, "this one," as opposed to Lilith, "is quite literally bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh." The fictional Lilith releases the rabbis from any notion of the primacy of the first text. She proves in the rabbinic worldview that the first try at equality was a mistake. The creation of Eve, now seen as the preferable role model in place of Lilith, corrects that mistake for all women. The first woman was simply the wrong one to become the mother of all life. This one shall be called woman. This one certainly, for the first one was called Adam, together with him. A name for this new creature must be found. She is not named for substance, the earth, as she was before. She's not even named for the substance from which she is made, from the tzelah, from his rib. She is named instead for her relationship to man, for from man she was taken. Taken from man, she is named by man. Naming here symbolizes control. As Adam achieves dominion over all the animals he has named, so too he asserts it over the woman. The lesson of the first story of original equality is now obscured. She will be linked to the rest of humanity through her female fruitfulness, even though when she receives this name, she has not yet borne children. Her name, Chava, Eve, is descriptive of the female place, the female role, the female nature. Well, that's surely had long-standing repercussions, hasn't it? Rabbi Joshua Trachtenberg studied Jewish magic and superstition, and he highlighted Lilith for her unique ability to retain her position during the Middle Ages, if indeed she did not strengthen it by virtue of the closer definition of her activities. Originally a wind spirit, he says, derived from the Assyrian Lilitu, with long disheveled hair and wings. During Talmudic times, the confusion of her name with the word Layil, or night, transformed her into a night spirit who attacks those who sleep alone. In fact, this idea that Lilith attacks people who sleep in a home alone can be found in our very Talmud, in Tractate Shabbat, page 151b, where Rabbi Hanina says, "It is forbidden to sleep in a house by yourself. All who sleep in a house alone brings about Lilith." So, she isn't mentioned in our Torah portion, but the rabbis of the Talmud were aware enough of Lilith to warn against her. In the apocryphal or intertestamental work, The Alphabet of Ben Sira, we read more about Lilith and her quest for equality with Adam. There, this is the legend. When the first man, Adam, saw that he was alone, God made for him a woman like himself from the earth. God called her name Lilith and brought her to Adam, and they immediately began to quarrel. Adam said, "You lie beneath me," and Lilith said, "You lie beneath me. We are both equal, for both of us are from the earth." And they would not listen to one another. As soon as Lilith saw this, she uttered the divine name and flew up into the air and fled. Adam began to pray before his creator, saying, "Master of the universe, the woman that you gave me has fled." God sent 3 angels and said to them, "Go bring back Lilith. If she wants to come, she'll come. And if she doesn't want to come, don't bring her against her will." So the 3 angels went and found her in the sea at the place where the Egyptians were destined to drown. There they grabbed her and said to her, "If you go with us, well and good, but if not, we're going to drown you in the sea." Lilith said to them, "My friends, I know God only created me to weaken infants when they are 8 days old. From the day a child is born until the 8th day, I have dominion over the child. And from the 8th day onward, I have no dominion over him if he is a boy. But if she is a girl, I rule over her 12 days. The angel said, "We won't let you go unless you accept upon yourself that each day 100 of your children will die." and she accepted it. That is why 100 demons die every day. They would not leave her alone until she swore to them, "In any place that I see you or your names in an amulet, I will have no dominion over that child." They left her, and she is Lilith, who weakens the children of men. It's a good legend. Good story. Because of this legend, generations of Jews would create and buy protective amulets to guard their babies from this demon Lilith. In fact, Aramaic incantation bowls have been found with writing and illustrations. These bowls literally bowls, clay bowls, seek to ward off Lilith, who is typically depicted there as being naked with hair freely flowing down her back. The incantations include phrases like, "You shall not appear again to them, either in a dream by night or in slumber by day, because you are sealed with the signet of El Shaddai. And you are bound and sealed, all you demons and devils and Liliths. Vanquished are the black arts and mighty spells. Vanquished the bewitching women, they, their witchery and their spells, their curses and their invocations, and kept away from the four walls of this house." Here's the thing. Repeatedly in Torah, we are commanded to reject witchcraft and diviners, but the priests use a bejeweled breastplate and the Urim and Tumim in an apparently sanctioned practice of divination. Why would there be rules rejecting witchcraft if nobody was practicing it? There wouldn't be. Archaeological evidence of incantation bowls featuring Lilith have been found all across ancient Babylonia, and these magic bowls were made to capture demons and ward off the powers of Lilith. In the ancient Sumerian city of Nippur, almost every single excavated house had a Lilith incantation bowl. The magical practice appears to have been very widespread indeed. Lilith has a long and relatively well-documented history in our people's imagination as a demon, a scary being, something to fear and ward off, but she also became an important figure of modern feminism. According to Jewish Women's Archive, the contemporary feminist movement found an inspiration in this image of Lilith as the uncontrollable woman and decisively changed the image of Lilith from demon to powerful woman. In 1972, Lily Rivlin published an article on Lilith for the feminist magazine Ms., with the aim of recovering her for contemporary women. The Jewish feminist magazine Called Lilith, founded in the fall of 1976, took her name because the editors were inspired with Lilith's fight for equality with Adam. An article in the introductory issue spelled out Lilith's appeal and rejected the understanding of her as simply a demon. And since then, interest in Lilith has only grown among Jewish feminists, neo-pagans, listeners to contemporary music by women, Hello Lilith Fair, poets, and other writers. I would be remiss to teach you about Lilith and omit the groundbreaking work of Dr. Judith Plaskow, whose 1972 midrashic retelling of Lilith changed the course of how we view this amazing character. So I'll conclude my remarks today with Dr. Plaskow's transformational retelling of Lilith's story called The Coming of Lilith. She writes, "In the beginning, the Lord God formed Adam and Lilith from the dust of the ground and breathed into their nostrils the breath of life. Created from the same source, both having been formed from the ground, they were equal in all ways. Adam, being a man, didn't like the situation, and he looked for ways to change it. He said," it was 1972, "He said, 'I'll have my figs now, Lilith,' ordering her to wait on him, and he tried to leave her to the daily tasks of life in the garden. But Lilith wasn't one to take any nonsense. She picked herself up, uttered God's holy name, and flew away. 'Well now, God,' complained Adam, 'that uppity woman you sent me has gone and deserted me.' The Lord, inclined to be sympathetic, sent his messengers after Lilith, telling her to shape up and return to Adam or face dire punishment. She, however, preferring anything to living with Adam, decided to stay right where she was. And so God, after more careful consideration this time, caused a deep sleep to fall on Adam, and out of one of his ribs created for him the second companion, Eve. For a time, Eve and Adam had a good thing going. Adam was happy now, and Eve, though she occasionally sensed capacities within herself that remained underdeveloped, was basically satisfied with the role of Adam's wife and helper. The only thing that really disturbed her was the excluding closeness of the relationship between Adam and God. Adam and God just seemed to have more in common, both seeming to be men, and Adam came to identify with God more and more. After a while, that made God a bit uncomfortable too, and he started going over in his mind whether he may have made a mistake letting Adam talk him into banishing Lilith and creating Eve, seeing the power that this gave to Adam. Meanwhile, Lilith, all alone, attempted from time to time to rejoin the human community in the garden. After her first fruitless attempt to breach its walls, Adam worked hard to build them stronger, even getting Eve to help him. He told her fearsome stories of the demon Lilith, who threatens women in childbirth and steals children from their cradles in the middle of the night. The second time Lilith came, she stormed the garden's main gate, and a great battle ensued between her and Adam, in which she was finally defeated. This time, however, before Lilith got away, Eve got a glimpse of her and saw she was a woman like herself. After this encounter, seeds of curiosity and doubt began to grow in Eve's mind. Was Lilith indeed just another woman? Adam had said she was a demon. Another woman. The very idea attracted Eve. She had never seen another creature like herself before. And how beautiful and strong Lilith looked, how bravely she had fought. Slowly, Eve began to think about the limits of her own life within the garden. One day, after many months of strange and disturbing thoughts, Eve, wandering around the edge of the garden, noticed a young apple tree she and Adam had planted, and saw that one of its branches stretched over the garden wall. Spontaneously, she tried to climb it, and struggling to the top, she swung herself over the wall. She did not wander long on the other side before she met the one whom she had come to find, for Lilith was waiting for her. At first sight of her, Eve, remembering the tales of Adam, was frightened, but Lilith understood and greeted her kindly. "Who are you?" they asked each other. "What's your story?" And they sat and spoke together of the past and then of the future. They talked for many hours, not once, but many times. They taught each other many things and told each other stories and laughed together and cried over and over till the bond of sisterhood grew between them. Meanwhile, back in the garden, Adam was puzzled by Eve's comings and goings and disturbed by what he sensed to be her new attitude toward him. He talked to God about it, and God, having his own problems with Adam and a somewhat broader perspective, was able to help out a little, but he was confused too. Something had failed to go according to plan. As in the days of Abraham, he needed counsel from his children. "I am who I am," thought God, "and I must become who I will become." And God and Adam were expectant and afraid the day Eve and Lilith returned to the garden, bursting with possibilities, ready to rebuild it together. As the secular culture around us moves towards a celebration of Halloween, the days grow short and winter's chill feels a little bit spooky. We hold in our imaginations the presence of this mysterious and scary Lilith, a demon, a symbol of female sexuality, and eventual feminist inspiration. I love the way our perspectives of Lilith have shifted along with our culture. I feel inspired by Lilith to harness my own power, and I hope others do too. May we speak out against the ongoing demonization of women in our own day, and may we feel inspired by Plaskow's Lilith, not to cause fear in the world, but to take our power and use it to build something good. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may this be God's will. Did I convince you? Do you think Lilith is awesome? Yes. Guys, Lilith is so good. Okay. All right. Lilith is herself a sign of strength, and we know whenever we gather together in community, we can share our strength with people who are in need of it. And so we'll turn our attention now and our thoughts to those in our own lives who are in need of some kind of healing, any kind of healing. We have some names I'll read aloud here, and then we'll have an opportunity in this space to share more names aloud. This week, we are thinking of Andy Abel, Sasha Aber, Adele Adler, Daniel Akiva, Ro M. Allen, Betty Alter, Eliana Amram, Robert Balanzau, Arthur Beckerman, Lauren Berg, Leonard Bernstein, Justin Boyd, Judy Brookstein, Bonnie Chiswick, Angela Chuang, Barry Cott, Jean Davis, Jean Dreifert, Ella Dubrow, Babette Feibel, Michael Feldman, Mary Freeman, Bodie Hayes Goldberg, Marilyn Goldfein, Randy Goldheimer, Aaron Gottlieb, Alan Granis, Nancy Granis, Adrian Greenwald, Kara Greenwald, Karen Guttner, Lisa Hogan, Judy Horvitz, Tama Isser, Jennifer Jacobs, Liam Jacobs, Brian Jeffries, Antoinette Karpinski, Aline Katz, Susan Kieser, Marina Kenny, Amy Kinslinger, Dr. Lou Klein, David Loney, Suzanne Loria, Susan Maxman, Richard Moore, Bridget Neese, Michael Pensner, Paula Platt, Rich Resnick, Lauren Redding, Charles Ross, Edith and Levi Rubenstein, Ken Sapphire, Shelley Schloss, Linda Schneiderman, Steve Shacknote, Gail Shapiro, Ronnie Simkoff, Barbara Steinfurst, Holden Ray Sussman, Suzanne Tosh, Patricia Wagner, Ilzabel Wolf, Norman Zach, Elizabeth Yitzhak Chaim HaKohen Vazelda Jenny, Baruch Ben Shlomo, Chaim Ben Chana, David ben Moses v'Bluma, Ephraim ben Naomi, Elano Ora bat Avraham v'Sara, Miro bat Yekutiel v'Rachel, Mor bat Daphna, Mordechai ben Henya, Noam Raphael ben Tali, Reuven ben Yita, Shana bat Yosel v'Rachel, and Yochanan ben Shira Yisraela. If you're here and you're thinking of somebody in need of healing, I'll invite you to share their name aloud as my eyes meet yours. We'll hold all of those people in our hearts as we turn in our prayer books to page 253 for Misha Berach.
Misha Berach Avotenu Mikor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu mikor habracha lehavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
We'll invite you to rise if you're able for Aleinu L'Shabeach on page 282.
עלינו לשבח לדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שמח חלקנו כהם, וקור עלינו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו
You may be seated. Our thoughts turn now to those who've departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. A full list of the yahrzeit list for this Shabbat can be found on the inside of your handout. We are calling to mind those who have died in recent days that were laid to rest this week: Francis L. DeBardeau, Susan H. Herwald, and Linda Kahn, and those in our congregational families who were laid to rest in the last 30 days, this period of Shloshim: Melvin Cohn, Virginia Ellis, Paul Kronik, Thelma Goldberger, William Samuel Leisman, Herschel Miller, Elizabeth Greiner Hoffman, Norman Schneider, Sue Ellen Frank, Thomas E. Gerson, and Anna Greenfield. And we're also remembering these loved ones in commemoration of their yahrzeits this Shabbat: Leonard S. Brown, Norman J. Danzig, Francis B. Edelstein, David Genshaft, Marcus Gleiser, Warren Goldstock, Sylvia Rosenberg-Lader, Ted M. Luntz, Sally Mesnick, Howard Ryder, Richard Schreibman, Sophie M. Schultz, Maurice Simkoff, Elaine Weiss, Virginia Loeb Klein-Wolf, and Rosalind Weiler. On Parashat Bereshit, we also recall to memory Regina Jonas, one of the first women to ever be ordained around the world. And we also note with sadness Lynn Giesler, who will be laid to rest this week. Are there others who are here remembering a loved one for Kaddish tonight? Zichronam livracha, we pray that their memories will always be for a blessing. If you're here remembering someone, I'll invite you to rise first at your seats so that we can know you in a difficult time. And if it's your custom, we'll invite you to rise as one community as we turn ahead to page 294 to recite Kaddish Yatom together. 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'v'zman kariv v'imru, Amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam u'lamei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei d'kudashah b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran me'alma v'imru, Amen. Yehi shlama Rabbah min Shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. Oseh shalom imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. We pray the one who creates harmony on high will bring peace to us, to all Israel, and to the world. And we say, Amen. You may be seated. As we gather together, we also think about those joyful occasions that we're experiencing, the moments for which we might want to say Shehechianu. And we know we've got a couple folks watching online. I don't know which camera to look at right now, so I'm going to look at all of them. The Wertheims are watching. Sally and Stanley Wertheim, they're both about to celebrate big birthdays this week, so we're wishing an early happy birthday to them. We are wishing a huge mazel tov to our 3 B'nai Mitzvah families tomorrow, the Clyde, Friedman, and Zellen families, who each have a child becoming a bar bat mitzvah tomorrow here at Mishkan Or. Anyone else have a birthday this week, an anniversary this week? Did you retire? Did you move? Did something great happen to you? Did you win the lottery? Did you learn about Lilith? Tell me your milestone. Rachel Otley, a happy birthday. We love Rachel Otley. Yes, happy birthday, Rachel. Anyone? Yes, please. You got a job! Yes!
And
Congrats! I hope it's a good one. That's great.
That's Eve, by the way. That's Eve.
I know, Eve. This is your week.
Eve.
This is Eve's week.
All right, good job, Eve.
Well done. Okay. Anyone else? Milestone moments. No lottery winners this week.
No.
Okay.
But you know what? We're all here, and that's a beautiful thing,
That's a good thing. We all won the lottery.
Should we sing Shehechianu?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu l'zman hazeh.
To mark the joy that comes with Shabbat, we'll continue now with Kiddush and Motzi. I know we've got a couple of kiddos here. Anybody who wants to come help us with Kiddush and Motzi? Come on over. I know Jacoby's
Help,
here.
Alec?
Okay. You want to hold the cup?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'yiratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho v'yahavahu v'ratzon hinchilanu, zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit, ki hu yom tehila l'mikra et kodesh, zeicher l'tziat Mitzrayim, ki vanu v'charta yotanu kidasha mikol yamim, v'shabbat kodshecha v'hava uvratzon hinechatanu, baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabat. Amen. Let's join together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
Okay. While we distribute challah up in this section, a few announcements before we move to our closing song. First, a big thank you to our amazing musicians for joining us, to our ushers and greeters and staff who help make things possible. We have a few things coming up. You can see lots of information on the back of your Shabbat handout. We've got tomorrow morning 2 options for Torah study, each at 9 a.m. One with me in the library, one with Rabbi Klein in the Heartsmark room. At 10:30 tomorrow morning, also in the library, we can join together for a Shabbat morning minyan. If you are a pet person, whether you have a pet now or you love to meet other people's pets, it is Parashat Noach starting tomorrow afternoon. So for Sunday, we're going to do Blessing of the Pets this Sunday in 2 days, right outside here at 12:15, right after Sunday school. It is an amazing event. You get to meet everybody's pets. All types of pets are welcome. If they travel well, bring them with you, or come meet other people's pets. It's really fun, all for Parashat Noach. Don't knock until you try it. It's really fun. Come join us, 12:15 on Sunday. Tuesday morning, we have our normal morning minyan at 9:15. We are starting a new initiative to bring our clergy to college campuses to meet up with our amazing Mishkan Or college students. So if you have a college student in your family who would like a visit, let us know where they are, because we're kind of traveling all over and would love to see them. We noticed that many of you are here tonight wearing your name tags, which is amazing. While not every event at Mishkan Or is ticketed like the high holidays were, it is really nice to wear your name tag throughout the year. So if you held on to it, we'd love to see you wearing it. It's a great way to meet each other and remind people what your name is. There's a lot of new folks around. It's nice to know who everyone is. So please feel free, follow the amazing role modelship of the many folks who are currently wearing their name tags. Feel free to bring yours with you next time. And early voting has begun here in the United States of America. So you should think about what your voting plan will be for our upcoming national election. You can request an absentee ballot by October 29th and return it by the 4th. At the ONEG, I want to hear what your voting plan is. If you're going to vote in person, if you're going to go early, if you're going to do by mail, whatever your plan is. I voted this week, took my kids to watch me. It was really great. It's very easy at the Board of Elections, so if you have questions, you can ask me. Make your voting plan. Don't forget to vote. It's an exciting season, and I don't have any other announcements, so I'm going to move us to our closing song. Are you ready?
Oh, we are so ready.
Yerushalayim Shel Zahav.
Page
356.
56. Avir harim saluk hayayin, avireach horanim, nisa beruach ha'arbayim im kol pahamonim, ותרדמת אילן ואבן, שבויה בחלומה. העיר אשר בדד יושבת, ובליבה חומה. ירושלים של זהב, ושל נחושת ושל אור, עלו לכל שירייך, אני כינור. ירושלים של זהב, ושל נחושת ושל upon the hills of time, to hear the voices of the city as bells of evening chime. A shofar sounding from the temple to call the world to prayer. A shepherd pauses in the valley and peace is everywhere. Yerushalayim shel zahav v'shel nehoshet v'shel or alo lechol shirayich ani kiror. Yerushalayim shel zahav v'shel nehoshet v'shel or alo lechol shirayich ani
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you.
Sorry, I have duplicates in